one's ever said to me like, "Oh yeah, you're small. I was just fucking with you," but that would be cruel.
Yeah.
But
No, thankfully I can still see my dick, but
that's good.
Blake and Dylan, the cold slice. Ooh.
welcome back to the Cold Slice Podcast. As you can see, this is a no toppings episode. Anthony died. I'm not even sure where he's at right now. I think he's dead though. It's just Blake and I in the studio today. How's it going, Blake?
It's going great. How are you, Dylan?
Very good. Very good.
And that's all we got.
That's it. That's the episode.
We're not actually friends. Like,
Anthony's the glue
Anthony's
that ties
the
us.
no, once upon a time, very, very briefly, but now we're buds.
Yeah. I mean, we've done quite a bit of hanging out.
Yeah. I've slept on your couch
Yeah, a couple times.
multiple times.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess since Anthony's not here, we could go back through our resolutions real quick.
Yeah, we could just talk about Anthony too.
Because just talk shit about him. Why not? He doesn't listen to these.
That's funny.
I asked him earlier today. I was like, "Did you see the last video that we put out?" And he's like, "No."
That would be really funny to just talk shit on him the whole episode and just wait to see how long
Before someone else tells him,
or before he even notices.
Yeah. We get like 9 episodes in.
Yeah.
He's just like, "What the fuck, guys?" I'm
I was
like,
reviewing some old footage.
yeah, yeah, right.
But we've been doing this a while now. Like, it's actually been 6 months officially.
Yes. Do you know the date?
Well, we started in November proper, so the first Wednesday of November.
Oh yeah.
So we've done November, December, January, February, March, and then this is April. So, or
Yeah.
this is May. When is this?
This is May.
Yeah, this is May. So
Yeah. Yeah, 6 months.
that's very exciting.
That's a pretty big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
This whole thing started out, and it was like we just had this idea, and it was like, let's just we need a way to hang out with each other because
Exactly. Before this, we only saw each other maybe once every 3 months, if that.
maybe, yeah,
Once every 4 months, once a quarter, and that just wasn't cutting it for me.
no, and it was like, I think that I may have seen Anthony more. I definitely saw Anthony more than
definitely.
you, just because, like in one of those last episodes we were talking about, or in the future episode or whatever. But in COVID, you were pretty particular.
Got kidnapped.
Yeah, you got kidnapped, basically. Yeah, indoctrinated.
Dude, yeah. Remember when we were going to go to Vegas in the middle of COVID?
Yeah, dude, that was fucking.
the week that it happened.
That would have been such a cool trip. We would it have though? Like, I couldn't have afforded it. Now that I think back,
I feel like we were really close to buying the tickets. I took work off.
we did buy the tickets.
Oh, we did?
We
And
did.
got refunded?
Yeah, we
Oh.
got refunded.
Yeah.
We bought hotel and flight.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. We never went.
Nope, we were so close, and Spirit rescheduled on us,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and everything was shut down, and we were just like, well,
We were about to move in together, too. We had house tours planned.
yeah, that's right. We did go tour a house.
Yeah.
Anthony was going to have to sleep out in the living room, though,
Yeah.
right?
We were open to it.
Yeah, well, he
We
was,
could take
yeah.
turns.
I was like, absolutely fucking not, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
will not sleep out.
Remember when we almost moved into my grandparents' place? Or we had a meeting
Oh
with them?
my God, yeah, dude.
That was fun.
That would have been a cool spot too, though.
Yeah.
You know,
They're really cool people.
they are.
But that would be interesting for 22, 23-year-olds
to be living.
to be fucking shit up at the grandparents' house.
We would have gotten,
It had a basement entrance, so it might have been okay. We would have got fed a lot.
yeah, that would have been cool. I mean, we would have been over in like Camas.
Yep.
Washougal.
Washougal area.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a different trajectory that we were on.
I
wonder what would have happened.
Dude, I'm so glad.
I think we would
didn't
have hated
do
each
that.
other.
Yeah, absolutely. We would have. I mean, I think we've all got really like, it may not seem like it because we're all so low energy, but I think we've all got really strong personalities. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that if we get into a disagreement, usually each one of us takes a different stance on it, and then we're like staunch. Like, this is the stance. I mean,
Are we bottlers or are we East Coast styling, like duking it out? Because I feel like
no, we're
I
bottlers.
swallow it.
Yeah, we're all like that.
Then,
Anthony's a little more explosive. Like,
I want to get like a reading on like how much you and I talk about Anthony and how much you and Anthony talk about me and how much me and Anthony talk about you and figure out like what the dynamic is. Like,
do you want that?
no, I don't want that at all actually, but
if you died and like, God or whoever was like,
it's
this
more
is
of like a morbid curiosity.
sure.
It's just like who actually feels what way? Because like when the three of us are in a room together, we're pretty honest, but I think there's definitely times where there's an unspoken understanding.
Sure.
Of who's playing nice and I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Wow, we're really getting deep. This is probably the most intelligent conversation we've had on this podcast.
Most of the time, I'm just trying to think of how to insert a dick joke in whatever we're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
This is where I
Go ahead.
Yeah. There's no place to insert the joke, so I'll have to insert it in your mouth.
Very nice. Are you going to try that out on our open mic?
Putting my dick in your mouth?
Yeah. That's the joke.
Is that our...
It's just me, me sucking you off. That's our open mic joke.
That would be funny. I wonder, like, if we could do it in a way that, like, where we didn't see my penis. It wouldn't be that hard, honestly.
Just normal.
Just, I want to talk about something real quick. In the beginning of your relationship, or maybe let's just talk more generally.
Okay.
I feel like in a hetero relationship, there is a point in the beginning where the female sort of like boosts the male's ego with their size, and they're like, "Oh, you're so big."
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Never once in my life.
Okay, I'm not going to get into it then.
Okay.
Because
are you getting to the point where you're like, when's the come down?
Like the first time anyone ever said that to me, I was like, that feels nice, but I know it's not fucking true. Like, who have you been with? Like,
I know what you're saying, and I was just kidding.
I was just like wondering when the come down is, or when that crushing moment is when someone no longer says.
Yeah, honestly,
that's happened to me twice now with different people.
That is a thing. I think it's funny that you phrased it the way you did. Like, I think that's definitely a thing where, both partners hopefully try to boost each other up in that beginning stage of, which could last a year, or maybe even 2, depending on your personality types. But yeah, it definitely has happened. I get what you're saying. And for me, there's never been a point where they're like, "Oh, I was just kidding, you're small." You know what I mean? But there has been a point where like they say it and it doesn't, you don't feel anything. You're like, all right, whatever. Yeah. All right. Okay. Like, we're just going to lie to each other. Like, I would rather you just not say anything,
Yeah. I'm tiptoeing around this a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a very comical feeling when not, because no one's ever said to me like, "Oh yeah, you're small. I was just fucking with you," but that would be cruel. Yeah. But it almost feels more cruel to have what happens to me, which is where they just either stop saying it or they just like make some small like hint.
Yeah.
That you're not as big as they said you were.
See, I've always been of the mind, and maybe this is why I got into stand-up comedy, but you got to beat them to it. I think you got to beat them to it. Like, if you feel a compliment coming on, no, it's tiny.
Yeah,
like, you're lying
don't
right now.
Fuck with me like that.
Yeah, that's not what my ex in high school said. All right, and I believe her.
I think people grow since high school.
You think so?
I don't know. A little micro.
I don't know.
A little bit.
I'll tell you what does happen though. I know what happens since high school. In high school, this feels so like douchey to say, like whatever, but and I think it's true for everybody, but I was in like the best shape of my life in high school. And obviously since then I've put on some weight for sure. So I'll tell you what does happen. That, I think they call it the pubis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the mons pubis.
Yes, yeah, the mons pubis. That definitely grows. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, because like you
Yeah.
you don't just like not get fat there.
Yeah.
Like you do, and like girls do it. Girls get it too. And so
It goes from a putting green to a trampoline.
yeah, real quick. Yeah. So like that makes your dick look so much smaller than it actually is, dude. Like, and you couple that, like, God forbid, I don't dream, I don't have nightmares, but if I had a nightmare, it would be like somebody pantsing me in Antarctica or something like that. I'm just like, I swear to God, I have a dick. Like,
I can't see it.
yeah, you can't see it either, but no, thankfully I can still see my dick, but.
That's good.
But all I'm saying is that like your like natural like like hanging out, like your dick doesn't hang at all anymore.
I'm a grower for sure.
Yeah, well, me too, but you know what I mean though. Like,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like hanging out on
just
top of your
is.
balls at some point.
Yeah, yeah. It's just perching there like a little bird on a nest.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes I let my bush grow out way too long, and then that really doesn't help either.
Dude, I don't know like what my genes look like, really. I haven't taken a 23andMe or whatever. But my shit's like pretty, it doesn't really get
it tight?
super bushy. Like it definitely does, like it happens, but like not like I've seen on like 70s pornos and stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
My penis wants to be black. It has an afro.
Oh, really? You should just shave a little afro on it.
That would be pretty tight.
Yeah. Did you ever in high school like shave silly faces into your pubes? Like a smiley face or something?
I don't know.
I definitely did.
That would be fun. I should try that.
Why not?
Yeah.
You got everything going for you,
Yeah,
dude.
I'll have to wait another couple months because I just trimmed. The worst is shaving all the way and then just being a prickly pear.
That is the worst.
No one wants that.
No. You know what? I've taken to just like I've got this like groomer or whatever. Like,
Do you have the Manscaper?
no, it's like a different affordable brand.
Yeah, something I can afford.
I don't know what Manscaped
It's
costs.
not the Lawnmower 5.0.
No, I do wish I got one of those though.
Can we get sponsored by them? Because I feel like every fucking starting podcast.
I
gets,
know. Yeah,
like the sponsor from them.
yeah, them and what's that meat one?
I don't know the meat one.
Butcher Box.
Oh, Butcher Box.
Yeah,
and
we're not
fucking
getting-
BetterHelp.
Yeah,
And
apparently, whatever. BetterHelp. Yeah,
there's a lot.
there is a lot. Yeah, we don't have any sponsors.
What's that about?
I don't know what that's about. What do we need? What does it take
What does it take
to get sponsors?
for you to pay us
Yeah.
to say your shit?
We'll put your ad wherever you want. I tried to get us a sponsor once.
It almost happened. I don't think we felt worthy enough.
No, we didn't. And that's kind of the hard thing too. You know what I'm realizing about myself is I always used to consider myself like somewhat of a business person. You know, like I did loans for a while, and
Well, you have a business mind.
yeah, I
You
thought I
considered
did.
it.
I feel like I'm good managing, maybe, which is like the worst thing that ever could have happened to me. Like someone's like, if you were to tell me at 13, they're like, you're going to be a good middle manager. I would have killed myself a long time ago. But I'm like, that's kind of where it stops because like I don't, with the podcast, with stand-up comedy, I just don't have it in me to like fight for what I probably should be getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm realizing that.
We definitely do a lot of downplaying and like making sure people are really on board before they
Yeah.
give us any money or I don't know.
Which is like, I don't think that's how people do it. I think they just go, here's the deal. Do you want it or not? Sort of,
Yeah, it takes a level of confidence that we don't have in this medium.
No. I feel like there's always a goal to hit before we get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but like that goal shouldn't even really be there. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody were to come to us and they would go, hey, we want to sponsor you, the three of us would sit around and like do a bunch of what ifs and like maybes or like,
They're not going to like us.
Yeah, and it's
Do
like-
they understand what this is?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Maybe we should be more assertive.
I think we should. I also think we should still take ourselves seriously and try to make it good.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always tough to like try to have like a big picture for something and then you go do it and you're like, oh, we were way off. We gotta adjust.
Yeah.
We found that out quick.
Yo.
What we did here.
Totally. I mean, the reality starts setting in real quick, and you're like, it's always so easy to be like, this is the dream, and this is what I think it should look like. And then all of a sudden you get there and you sit down, and it looks like this for 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when you first started this, you're like, just give me 6 months, dude. That's all I need. If we don't want to do it after that, we're good. But I think we're too far in it now.
I think so too.
6 months is here, and, it's not hurting anybody.
No, I think everyone's having a good time. I mean, it's definitely a talking point. Like,
Definitely. I hear it from my family all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. I think my family does not like it. You know what? I did, and you should never do this, just in general, but I sent a video of me doing stand-up to, like, my stepdad.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I didn't like it. And I was like, fuck, why would you say that?
Yeah.
But
That's so supportive.
yeah, so supportive. So then I was like, determined to be like, okay, I have some like mediocre jokes I'll try out on them. Just kind of a different style because I'm definitely a story comic.
Yeah.
I need time to like get,
Yeah.
not necessarily the details, but like to lay it out a little bit.
Yeah. Warm the audience up.
Yeah. So I've tried to like do one-liners or like somewhat one-liners and stuff like that. So I tried those out on him, and he's like, how is that even supposed to be fun? And I was like, God damn it, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Bro.
It's so...
I feel like you have to be in the mood to laugh because
Yeah.
I think the audience, the interesting thing about comedy is like when I watch stand-up by myself, it will take me a lot to actually laugh out loud if I'm just me.
Yeah,
But
totally.
even if there's just one other person there, I'm much more likely to like chuckle or grin. And sometimes even when I'm in the audience, and I've been called out for this before in the front row.
Every time.
Every time. But I'll think something's funny, but I won't necessarily laugh. I'll be like, that was a good joke. Good job.
Yeah.
In my head.
You're not a big reactor.
No. But then people like call me out and they're like, are you even having a good time? And I'm like, and my line is, I'm smiling.
Yeah, which makes it seem like you're still not having a good time.
But I actually am. So
yeah.
I think I'm more of an analytical person. I'm always like analyzing the craft and hearing the timing and hearing the setup and trying to figure out what works about certain people, what's not working. I feel like that's half the fun of stand-up comedy.
Is it? I don't think so.
No, people probably don't enjoy that.
Well, I think
but I think it's funny not funny, but it's interesting to me to have all the variables. So like you have the same jokes and said different ways, and it's funny depending on the timing of it. You can also have the same material but a different person, and maybe it's funny when one person says it, but it's not funny when the other person says it.
Yeah.
So I like thinking about those things and then figuring out the why of the situation.
Sure. I mean, I don't think that's how comedy is set up to be enjoyed.
No, it's not.
But
Not. Maybe that's how other comics watch each other, but I'm not really a comic.
Yeah.
Yet.
But you've also been on stage basically your entire adult life. I mean, so for you, you're like somebody shows up to a comedy club and they go, I'm here to laugh and I'm here to I'm here to shut everything else off.
Yeah.
And I'm here to enjoy it. And like that's where the setting comes in, where it's like you need to be in the moment, or like you need to be in that mode to think that I mean, some of the greatest comedians ever, like Bill Burr or whatever, he could be sitting right here, tell us a joke, and we would just be like, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not the right thing.
Right. It's not the setting.
No, but for you, having been on stage most of your adult life, I assume you're probably looking at it like, how is the show going? Like, how are they leading their show?
Totally.
Which is, when you do an open mic, you get 3 minutes to have your own show.
And that's it's a interesting thing, like the different times that they give you. Because a 3-minute set is totally different than even a 5-minute set.
Yeah, definitely.
Or a 10-minute set.
Yep. So, I mean, I went to one recently, and it was like, I think he changed it. But it said online, it was like 5-minute set. And I was like, okay, great. I can do my regular 3-minute set, not feel like I'm being rushed,
Just take your time.
Yeah, take my time, let the people laugh, because oftentimes I've got to rush through a joke and be like, if they're laughing, I have to just keep moving on because I only have so much time. And you don't want to be the asshole that like burns the light and goes over your time because other comics will hate you. So I went to this 5-minute one, and it was way different, and I actually ended up stopping myself at 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. Time moves very slowly when people are watching you.
Yeah. The dude was like, if you go and you do, if you sign up for a 5-minute open mic or a 5-minute mic or whatever, and you only do 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes, that's okay.
Yeah.
They're fine with that. Just means that they get to go home earlier that night, hopefully. Sure. But it was just vastly different. I thought it was going to go way different in my head.
And you only probably added 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just by pausing and stuff.
Yep, exactly. So, crazy. So do you feel like you even like if you go watch stand-up comedy, like, do you feel like you're enjoying it as much as everyone else around you?
I feel, I would say I don't walk in there all giggly and like trying to laugh at things.
Sure.
I think some people are like that. I'm more like, if something's really funny, it sounds pretentious, but like, I feel like my laughter is earned.
Yeah. But you got to earn it, yeah.
Not in the sense that like I'm too good for people, but I'm not gonna react or laugh if I don't think something's
naturally
really
have that like reaction.
Yeah. But I do enjoy being there. Even when people aren't funny, I enjoy being there.
Yeah, that's almost better, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, good comedians, I'm always like, that was great, but then like you get some bad comedians, I'm just going to say it, bad comedians going up there and bombing, and like, to me, that's way more
It's a real ego
fun.
booster.
Yeah. That's probably why, actually, I like that. Like,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, no. And the cool thing is, like, there's such a history of bombing. Like, no one remembers it, and no one talks. I mean, well, it's not that no one talks about it or no one remembers it, because people have bombing stories the bombing stories are actually usually funnier than the actual set.
Yeah.
But it's expected.
Yeah.
Like, in music, if someone has a shitty show, you're like, ew. Like, people get nervous for that person, and then they're like, oh, God.
Well, it's like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
That would be my thing is like, how did you even get this far, like in music, to come do this show and then you bombed? I'm like, I don't get that really.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables on that. When I have a bad show, it's really embarrassing, but it usually has to do with, for me, it's like, there's a few things because I sing and play guitar. It's vocal health will have a huge impact on how the show goes, like how rested my voice is, how much water I drink, and when I've eaten. Did I warm up? That's a huge factor. And then guitar-wise, it's a lot of it has to do with where I am mentally and how much I prepared and practiced, how much improvisation is in the set, how much I'm just supposed to play the notes I know. Like, if my guitar feels set up right, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very precarious, but it should be much easier to rehearse music and get it on the level where it should be.
Sure. I mean, have you ever bombed a show?
Yeah, in my head.
Okay.
I don't think there's too many people that would cite times where they thought I bombed. Maybe on a few songs, but not a whole set.
Maybe. The only thing I've ever heard you like even kind of mess up was like maybe your voice cracked or something.
Yeah.
But that's it. I've never seen you like drag a show through the mud.
No. No, I try not to do that. For me, it's just little mistakes that I beat myself up for, but I've never had like a disaster. Well, I have, like, personally in my head, but most people don't notice. No. It usually happens when I try a new song that I haven't done before that someone requests.
Yeah.
And I think I know it well enough to try it. But then
and then you get in it.
I just do it. It's a complete disservice.
You know, I guess the good thing for you is that you can always just fall back on just playing guitar for the rest of the song. If you really had to.
Just keep strumming the chord. Be like, you guys sing it.
Yeah. This one's for you.
Yeah. The biggest thing that'll trip me up on a new song is the timing. Because I can sing along with things for years, no problem. But then to do it yourself, it's like the difference between doing karaoke and doing live karaoke. I don't know if you've ever done that, but they have karaoke where they have a live band behind you.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I guess the difference would be if you don't know the song, there's nothing going. The words are there, but they're not like following along in time.
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah.
tell you when to come in. You got to know when to come in.
Sure.
You got to know when each beat is happening. And,
You got to know your song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So like usually there's 4 beats in a measure. I'm not going to get too far into it, but like if I don't know which beat the singing starts on, I'll guess to my best of my knowledge, and then if I'm wrong, that'll like mess up the entire verse or something.
Yeah, the flow of the first half of that
yeah,
song.
exactly. Depending on how many words there are.
Yeah, I've considered doing live karaoke a couple of times. I think that'd be a fucking blast.
You'd be good at it because you've done it with me, like when I play,
Yeah, it's true.
and you can get through it easily.
Yeah. But if I picked a song, I was like, I'm just going to try this tonight. I don't think that'd go very well.
If you didn't know it, it doesn't go well for me. So
I've always
yeah.
wondered, like, I know musicians have those in-ear pieces.
yeah, I have those.
What is it playing? Are you singing to yourself in the earpiece?
Essentially, but it's not pre-recorded. It's just like, like most places will have like a monitor, like a speaker facing you and facing the audience. What the in-ear does is it replaces the speaker that's facing you. So instead of having to have the sound come in 2 directions, audience and performer, it just puts it in your ear. So anytime I talk into the mic, you'll be able to hear it. Or when I play the guitar, they have a mic on the guitar, so it is super helpful.
I'm sure. I always thought it was like they're feeding you your own song. And you're kind of doing...
You can do that.
Yeah, that's what I would want, I think.
Yeah, the thing about that is then everyone else in your band has to also be being fed the song. That's pretty common in pop music, and most like arena shows or like big artist shows, they play to what they call tracks, which are pre-recorded. So they have most of the band playing, but then if they have stuff on the recording that they don't have a band member to play it, they'll just like play it in their ears and to the audience. But that means everyone has to have like a click track in their, having a metronome in their ear, because you can't get off, because that thing is constant. You can't
switch it up mid-song?
No, because it would be like programmed on a computer. And a lot of times those things aren't rhythmic. If it was like a drum loop playing, then it would be easier to follow. But if it's just like keyboards going, if you get in the middle of a chord and then you somehow get off with that, and then the next chord is just coming whenever it is pre-recorded to come, and if you're not in sync with that, that could really fuck it up.
Huh. I didn't understand most of that. But
Yeah.
that makes sense, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
I feel like I don't know shit when it comes to music technology.
It's pretty daunting sometimes. I don't think it's super complicated, but if you're not in that world, there's a ton of musicians that don't. If you haven't like ran live sound before, I'd say not the majority of musicians, but there's a good chance that a lot of people in the band won't really know what's going on and how to like make everything function. It's like its own skill.
Sure.
The only reason I know how to do it is because that was my job in Nashville, was like running live sound for other bands.
Yeah, and you went to school for it too, right?
Yeah. I didn't get trained on that specifically, but just through having my own PA system before college and after. This got really boring.
I get, it probably did for the listener. They're just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I think
well, God damn it, it's just the two of us.
What we were trying to say, deal with it.
Yeah.
What we were trying to say is like, if you rehearse a song and it's great, it'll pretty much always be great. But if you rehearse a joke and like the audience is different, it might not land. Like, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on the audience. I fell into this. We're almost out of time, but I fell into this death trap, like my first couple of stand-ups, where I was like doing new material every single stand-up show.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, it's a story comic. So like every single stand-up show, I had to memorize a story
Yeah.
and memorize the jokes and get the beats and stuff like that. And it was just awful. Like,
Yeah, because then you don't have any way to like practice or hone your
No.
craft on
no, not at all.
anything.
So the first time I did stand up, it was like I think I got a lot of like, oh wow, that was pretty good for your first time, you know. And then I got cocky, and then the second time I did it, I put it up on the Patreon for those that follow that. But I got cocky, and I ate shit in front of, you know, probably 15 people, 20 people, whatever, plus however many comics were there. And ever since then, you know, I've just been like real cautious on.
Feel a
like,
little more humble.
I do. I definitely feel more humbled. Like I took a small hiatus right after that.
Yeah.
Not because I was like, I don't want to get back up on stage, but because I was like, okay, I need to readjust. Like,
Yeah, there's more to this than
yeah,
originally.
than just telling a funny story.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. That's all the time we got, guys. This is obviously a shorter episode. It's just Blake and I on this one. No toppings episode, of course. If you liked that, too bad. Go ahead and check out the other videos we have with Anthony, who's usually here. I think at this point we'll have released our Tap Union. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and give that a look. For those of you that don't know, I got asked this once, but the On The Go episodes are only on YouTube. We're not releasing them over the podcast.
Yeah, they don't work audio only.
No, they really don't. You got to see it to believe it on these. Like, you got to see the food, see the beer, you know, see the ambiance. So, yeah, if you guys like this, go ahead and check out other stuff. Thanks for watching.
The coastline.